Okay, so the first one was drawn without lines, right? And put it on the screen, and it was the focusing on the shapes and tones rather than putting out lines around things and trying to define edges and all the rest of it. It was or find shapes in a linear way. It was about finding shapes with tones and the difference that made. Right, it was a completely different way of working, and the fact that you're looking at an outcome that's shouldn't really work. There are things in there. Look, there's the eye. Why does that eye work? Why does that eye work? Why does that communicate that eye? So that was, and as you saw me draw it, there was no apprehension or tentativeness in it. And the second one, this one, it was the same kind of thing, and driven again by this emotional connection, made me want to draw in a certain way. So what they both have in common is this fearless mark making, this fearless approach. Now, it's always difficult with portraits because you fear that it might not look like somebody. There's a hell of a lot of great portraits out there, and people have this perception of needing to be that good or needing to do it in that particular way. All of those things just take away any kind of boldness and bravery, because you just fear that it might not work. This image, for instance, it's a fantastic image, and it could be quite daunting to draw something like that. Usually female faces are always quite a challenge because of the smoothness and evenness, and they're not rough and ready. They're just perfect in a way. And so when it comes to like sort of this flesh tones and things, it's all very delicate, and it can be daunting. So this idea of being fearless in approaching something like this, it's almost a contradiction, but it's really important that you are, in order to first of all approach it from this point of view. In order to do this, you have to be fearless. You can't be tentative and meticulous and all the rest of it if you want to do it this way. I mean, obviously, I've just seen a guy doing it now, and it was incredible, his work, but God knows how long it took him. As I said earlier, that I can't sustain my interest more than a couple of hours. But the same with this. It has to have that immediacy, that kind of boldness about it. So I'm going to draw move the camera a little bit, and I'm going to draw the girl and try and talk about the fearlessness thing. And I'm going to do it with the stumps again, the little bits of charcoal. One of the things you saw me do it on the previous one, where I was just straight at it. I was more with that one. I was more concerned with trying to get across this idea of it not being about outlines. So I probably was a little bit less flowing and dynamic as I was with this one. Although this one, because of the nature of it, I was also dynamic with it in that way. But with this one, it's again, I want to it's a great image to connect with. I mean, that's the first thing. Oh, not good charcoal. Because of the way she's looking. But I want to try and get to a point where it's there but not there. This is the fearless. If you're worried about making marks, being bold enough to make marks at this stage, then it's not going to work all the way through. You're not going to be able to sustain the fearlessness if you're worried at this stage, because this is the stage where, and I keep saying this all the time, I know, but this is the stage where all the mistakes should happen. So don't worry too much about what's going to the kind of marks you're going to make at this stage. Learning to draw with this kind of freedom is really what you need to think about. I mean, I said before earlier, this is not the right way to do it. This is one of the ways to do it. This is the way I do it, and all I'm concerned with really is getting people to sort of get over their the complications and the fears and the obstacles that there seems to be in front of us when we're trying to make portraits. There just seems to be an overwhelming requirement to conform to the way that people do it. You know, whether it's the drawing in the first place or whether it's the painting or whatever, there just seems to be this real pressure that you must do it this way, you know, and that's the only thing that I'm really bothered about, that people don't. Well, I'm bothered about that people not. See, the thing is that I didn't do it for 30 years, and I don't want anybody else to fall into that trap. That's what it is, and that's why I'm so keen to sort of get across what it is that I fixed after 30 years of not doing it. What I fixed so I can sustain myself and carry on doing this and do this every day. You know, do this every day, rain or shine. No matter what I feel like, I do it. It's just there. And to keep that kind of motivation there is a reason for it. And all of it is to do with what I talk about today. So, as I said, this fearlessness thing, I mean, it comes from the what you got to lose kind of feel about it, you know, approach. It's sort of zero expectations. It comes from that kind of viewpoint, but it's all right. I'm just I'm just looking at that. I think I like all that was going off there, but it comes from that zero expectations and just having fun. And I said in the previous one, I was just going to have fun doing something. But I really think that the fearlessness of marks or fearless mark making is a really important thing. You can't do the other things unless you're fearless about doing this, about making the marks. It doesn't work. It doesn't. It's you're trying to connect to and respond to the essence of somebody, and you're too busy bothered about the precision of your lines. You know, it just doesn't work. Or precision of your marks. find something with a better point on it than that. Not too much of a point though, because I'll end up drawing it. I don't want to do that. I want to keep as I said with the others, I want to keep the spontaneous marks, regardless of the accuracy. I'm going to have to switch back to the bigger piece of charcoal, because if I'm not careful, I'll get locked into the drawing part of it. I don't want to do that. I want to keep it at the, for point of view, of this video. I just want it to keep it within the, the bold and fearless marks. So apart from the again, it'll be one of those when I'll just tweak certain things about it, but hopefully you can see how bolder and fearless marks, or why you have to be bold and fearless with the marks in order to I suppose implement the things I've been talking about. You can't really not be bold and fearless when you're doing when you're not concentrating on the outlines of things. You're looking for shapes, and you can't really be bold and fearless when you're trying to connect with someone and you're having an emotional response to it. So as I said when I started it, when you do it this way at the beginning, you expect to make mistakes. You expect it to be about mistakes, finding the location of things in a almost like in a feeling your way around kind of thing. It's inevitable that you'll make mistakes, but that's good, and it's you don't know what those mistakes will lead to, and that's it really. I think that some might call it confidence, and I probably agree to some extent that is confidence, but I also think it's a case of not giving a damn. This is not anybody else's work. This is your work. So, it's just your expression. So why would it not? Why would you fear doing that? Fear the outcome or whatever. Why would you be fearful of if it's not working? As I said, it's hard when it's portraits because there is that trepidation. It's got to look like somebody. It's got to be an accurate replica. There's all of that kind of stuff, and it's inevitable that you'll feel like that. But you've got to see past that. You just got to have fun and do it. It's not, as I said earlier, the majority of the time, the main reason for me doing this is for the fun of doing it, not for any other reason, not to show anybody, not to exhibit, not to sell, not to do any of those things. It's just to have fun, because that's the only reason that really we're on this planet for, is to enjoy. And if there's no joy in doing this kind of thing, I don't know what there is, what there would be. It can't be a struggle. It can't be, people talk about it being a struggle. If it's a struggle, you're not doing it right. It's got to be fun. You've got to enjoy doing it. So as I said, apart from knocking back some of the tones and tweaking here and there, it's done. I'm not going to overwork it and lose some of the freshness of the marks. As I'll probably end up doing a little bit of tweaking like I did on the last one, but I think I've got 99% of there. I just wanted to get to that point and not take too long to get there either. I'm trying to keep these below 30 minutes, so there you go. I see me doing that a lot as well, by the way. I don't want to rub it, smudge it, or anything. I just want to kill it a little bit so it's not as dark and as dominant. So I will touch tones to knock them back a bit. Tapping off is what I've heard people call it. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm tapping off the tones. So there you go. I'll probably sort that out as well, but for now, as I said, I'm going to leave it.